YouTube, what's up? It's ForceBolt. I have a gameplay commentary for you today over some FIFA. It's a little bit longer because I put 3 FIFA games together, except it's not really clipped as much as my other commentaries I did with FIFA, because this is more like people kept quitting out on me and Eli when we were playing pro clubs. We had 2 of these games in a row, the second and third were in a row, and then the one game I put first was like, I played a full game, and then that other game that I played first, people quit out there too, which I don't know, I mean, we were just killing it, and we're in D3 right now, which to be honest, we have never actually successfully made it to D1. But we're going to get there because we're on a hot streak right now. We're sitting in D3 with 5 games played. We have 13 points. So we only need 5 more points in 5 games to get to D2. And then we're going to kill D2 and get to D1. And then we're going to hold D1 and win that title because we are playing fantastic. And it's just because we play a very different playstyle than other people. Most people just go for speed, which my player is a very fast player because that's what I go off because my guy is very speed oriented and I'm good at dribbling in the game and making moves around people. So that's kind of what I do and focus my guy on, and getting space for myself to throw crosses into Eli, because Eli's dude is like, I think he's like 6'5", and no one else uses that size advantage in this game, because some of our goals, about half, or a little less than half actually, are crosses into Eli, because he's just towering over the defenseman, and especially in tough situations, those are what we run for. And it is kind of abusing the system, but it's like it's something that no one else in pro clubs use. So that's kind of like my advice to you guys is, if you have a lot of players, or even if you have just 2, consider making one person like a big striker. Yeah, they can't do the through balls, but like I play Cam, and basically I run as the through ball type striker. Like Eli will play balls to me, or I'll call for balls from the defenseman for over the tops, and it works really well because my guy gets those through ball runs, and Eli's that big man to hold up the ball or to cross it into. It's a very different gameplay style than most people play, but it is very efficient at the same time. So yeah, you know, also I said people were quitting out, and my other advice to you is don't quit out. Especially when you're playing pro clubs, anything can happen. We've had 3-4 goal comebacks happen a lot, and we like to say we play better down because usually, to be honest, we get scored on in the first 15 minutes a lot if we're going to get scored on. Don't know why, it just happens. We start slow or something, but we usually come back and win the game. And yeah, it's just 1 goal, but it's like, you're never out in pro clubs. You can turn games around really fast. I think we have one of these clips, we scored 3 goals in like a matter of like 15-20 game minutes. And, you know, that's very fast with how fast the clock's moving. And yeah, you know, you just gotta push through when you're down. Don't quit. Quitters, it sucks. Like, why would you want to quit? You lose those 3 points, you have no chance for it. It's either you're gonna play out the whole game and lose 3 points, or have a chance of getting at least 1 point, or just quit 10 minutes into the game. Like, I think there's one where someone quits within the first 10 minutes of these games in one of these clips. Or if I didn't put it in this one, there was another one where someone did do that because I scored like right away. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? Yeah, so that's that. I was going to use this video to do kind of a second installment of the Inner Nerd as well, because it's a longer video. I previously talked about Star Wars, which I could still go on and on about. I didn't even talk about half of my Star Wars love. Like the shows, Rebels and Clone Wars, I think I might have mentioned them a little bit. But yeah, love watching those shows. Could talk about those a bunch. And I have Star Wars stickers on my car. I never told you guys that. But I mark my Jedi acceptance and membership with pride, sticker on the back. So yeah, there's that. But I'm going to dive into more of the fantasy world of my nerd side, and there's a lot of that. It kind of starts with Lord of the Rings and books of that nature. I, to be honest, have never read all the Lord of the Rings straight through. I've tried a few times, and they're very, to me, dry. I bet if I tried now, it'd be different. But like the whole like fantasy and dragon worlds, even though there aren't dragons in Lord of the Rings besides Smaug, I love them so much. They're awesome. Lord of the Rings, I first watched, I want to say when I was like 8 or 9, and it was awesome. I fell in love with those movies. The extended editions, I don't know if you guys have watched them. They're long. Like the shortest one's 3.5 hours. The third movie, that's the first movie. The second one's like 4, and the third movie's like 4.5 hours. But I can watch those and watch those and watch those. I mean, the Hobbits are out now. The third one wasn't the best, I'd say. I'd say it was better than 1, more exciting. But those movies I could watch a bunch too. I mean, just love the Lord of the Rings and that type of world, the magic worlds. I love. I mean, you guys, I've played Dragon Age a lot for you guys. Skyrim, I put a ton of time into Skyrim back on Xbox, and then Shadow of Mordor, I put a bunch of time on too, which I still need to get a gameplay up for you guys. I just haven't really had an opportunity where I've sat down and played Shadow of Mordor live, because when I've been making videos, it's basically clips that I've gotten when I've been playing with other people or playing while in a party with someone, because they tell me to get on, basically. So I get on with them and I play with them. I haven't had time when I've been alone to make a lot of commentary. Is basically what I'm saying. But yeah, continuing the inner nerd, my fantasy world spreads out from just movies and Lord of the Rings and stuff, because I play D&D. I do. I admit that. I play it with my friends. We play every Wednesday night, which is tonight, actually. They're coming over in a bit, and we're going to play. And right now we're doing a Star Wars campaign. Figure that, right? But the D&D Dragon World, nothing beats that. I mean, you guys can say that D&D sucks and that people are nerds who play it all you want, but like when you're sitting there playing it, it is a ton of fun, because you just indulge yourself with your imagination, and it's a video game but way better, because everything is like a free action, basically. You just get to choose what you want to do and do what you want to do. I mean, you have your restrictions based on like your attacking and your abilities and stuff, but that's why there's like 10 different classes for you to choose from. I mean, Star Wars D&D is fun, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you just have to have this love for the original D&D with dragons and stuff, and just a great campaign with a good dungeon master. Just it's so much fun to play. Like, honestly, if you guys ever get the chance to try D&D, try it. I don't care how athletic you are, or how non-fun you think it would be, how sporty you think you are, how older than that you think you are, whatever. Just try it, because you will have fun. Anybody can have fun playing D&D, because it's just your imagination. I mean, I guess if you don't have imagination, you can't have fun, but if you don't have an imagination, you're missing half of the exciting part of life. Like, man, it is really fun, I promise. And along with D&D, we actually, over last summer, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, and we played Magic as well, and we hadn't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In years. I mean, I'm not going to say it's something we do a lot, because it was basically like this little summer obsession we had, where we all got out our old decks, bought some new cards. I didn't have a deck anymore, so I went and bought a starter deck. And I mean, it was just fun to mess around with something we hadn't played with in a while, which makes me sound like a huge nerd. But I mean, at the same time, every time I go to Japan to visit my dad, I get a ton of Pokemon cards, because what else am I going to get when I'm in Japan, right? And I mean, I still play Pokemon as well. That's a different nerd story, right? I mean, everybody plays Pokemon, though. I don't even think we can count that as being a nerd. We can count that as being a normal person, is playing Pokemon, especially normal gamer. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! It was fun to go back to that. We had a time where a bunch of our friends, like Trauma was there, Eli was there, he's been in the videos, Envy was there, and we were up north at my girlfriend's cabin, which is on Lake Huron. And it's a really, really nice cabin. You can't really call it a cabin. It's basically just a house. They've got a hot tub and stuff. It's wonderful. But we all were up there. We bonded. The weather wasn't the best. The lake was so cold, so you couldn't really go in it. But we had some great times playing beach volleyball and stuff. And basically, when we had downtime, we played Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is how we spent our time. And it was a really good time, because just the nerd things you can do with your life are so much fun. Like I said, D&D, so much fun. Yu-Gi-Oh!, so much fun. Magic, I like Magic more than Yu-Gi-Oh! Personally. Like, some of our friends like Yu-Gi-Oh! Better, but I like Magic better. It's a very good strategy game, and building decks to me is a ton of fun, because you have to build them with a certain strategy, and it takes a lot for that. And I bet you guys probably hate listening to me talking about cards, because you think it's too much for a nerd, but hey, embrace it, enjoy it. Because when you're an adult, you won't be able to do this type of stuff. So enjoy being a teenager or a kid, however old you are, and enjoy being a nerd and playing these things that people may judge you for, because who cares if they judge you? You're having a great time. And yeah, just enjoying doing fun stuff with your friends. But more into the fantasy world, one of my favorite things with fantasy is the Inheritance series. And I don't know if you guys have read this. It's based around a character named Aragon who becomes a dragon rider, and though that's probably my favorite book series ever, like by far. I've read them so many times. The movie, if you guys have seen the movie, and think that's what the story is, you're wrong, because they botched the movie. First of all, one of the main villains, the Rozak, they killed off in the first half an hour of the movie. And that's one of the main villains for the first 3 books. So I have no idea why they did that or how they thought it was okay, but they did that and it was stupid. They ruined probably one of the best series ever. I want to see someone pick up that series and make it, like Fox or Warner Brothers, just someone who's big now, pick it up and make a great movie out of it, because you could. That series is fantastic. You can make a ton of money off those movies, because those books had a big following, and like the world, and it's so different than other worlds, the way magic works and stuff. And it's, if you haven't read those books, I suggest them. The Inheritance series, I would say they're like a high school reading level, lower high school reading level, so you may feel like you're reading down a bit, but by the end of the series, they get a lot more complicated, so it's more of like a reading level that will keep you feeling like you're smart, I guess. But reading level to me doesn't matter. It matters if the book is good. Like if you look at Harry Potter, that's kind of a younger age level book, and I love reading those as well. But yeah, read that series, because it will change your outlook on dragons and magic and stuff. It's a ton of fun. But anyway, this video is coming to an end, so hopefully I'll get another video out for you guys in a few days. I have really been busy, as Trauma said yesterday, but YouTube, I'm out.